Antiverse.
Antiverse, huh?
Yeah.
So here's our first episode, and I guess this is the show. We're doing the show now. First episode in what, 2 years?
That's about right. Yeah, since the Spider-Man game.
Remember when I said I was going to look up what episode number this is? I didn't look it up.
That sounds about right. That's very Antiverse work ethic right there.
I'm pretty sure it's 58, but if you want to vamp a little bit, I can double check that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been gaming?
Well, I mean, geez, we've mainly been gaming DBD, which we were probably gaming back when we did the Spider-Man episode. I don't know if we've played a whole lot of things other than DBD in the past couple of years. And I should probably say that DBD is Dead by Daylight, for anyone who doesn't know what DBD is.
For the uninitiated.
Yeah, for the uninitiated. God, we play that game a lot, so much, all the time. It's very addicting and very fun.
And very frustrating.
And very frustrating now that we're at the high ranks, somewhat unwittingly.
Well, anyway, you can resume in just a second, but yes, this is episode 58. So welcome to episode 58, everybody. So yeah, other than DBD, what you got going on, or is that basically it?
I guess I've started playing, 20 years late to the party, 30 years late to the party. I've started playing Resident Evil 1.
Nice.
I'm most of the way through it now. I think I'm most of the way through it anyway.
Well, you're only 20 years late to that remaster, or remake, or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I remember the remake coming out when I was in high school. But I don't know, I never had interest in Resident Evil, and then just all of a sudden, in like the past few months, I've just been like, man, I really wonder what's going on with Resident Evil. So this is not spurred by the announcement of the new game. This was like right before the announcement of the new game came out. I was like, I'm gonna play through the Resident Evil series, and I actually is the second and third remakes, are they on Xbox? Because if they're not, I'm actually probably gonna end up stopping at one.
Yeah, they definitely are. Wait, did you think they were like PlayStation exclusives or something?
Yeah, I kind of thought they might be. But yeah.
Yeah, they're the 2 and 3 remakes, and of course the remasters of 4, 5, and I guess 6 are also on Xbox. Even though 6 was already an Xbox One game, so.
Yeah.
Or wait, was it? I don't even remember. But 6 was awful, so I don't really remember much about it.
I most likely will go at least through 4. I don't know if I'll go past that, but yeah. I'm kind of curious. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I feel like maybe it was kind of spurred on by learning that there's a Resident Evil 2 board game.
Okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, Resident Evil, that's a thing. So I've had just zero interest in this series like my entire life, and then just now, all of a sudden, I want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, does it have anything to do with the fact that those remakes of 2 and 3 are kind of current games now?
Yeah, I saw some gameplay of 2, I think it was of Resident Evil 2 remake, and I was like, this game actually looks kind of fun. Now that it's not that annoying camera thing of the original series.
Yeah, they really kind of should have just remade 1 again. And then 2.
I probably would have started these replays earlier if they had remade 1 in that same style as they've made 2 and 3. Because that's the main reason I was resistant, because I really wanted to start with 1, but I didn't want to put up with that camera. But I'm putting up with it.
Yeah. Well, so their Capcom's their business model for releasing those remakes has worked, because it's sort of, I guess, caused you to have interest in the franchise, just kind of generally. So
yeah,
or it's been a factor at least. And kind of, I also same with me, admittedly. Like I've had a little more interest in the series over the years than you have, since you said you have absolutely zero interest. I mean, I've been playing them. I don't I the first one I played when it was current was 2, and I didn't really play much of it. Um, and then I on PS1 I had the Resident Evil 1 director's cut. I remember that. And I played that. I played them a little bit. I never played 3, and then I played the remake of 1 on GameCube, but again, I didn't play much of it. Um, and then obviously I loved 4 when that was new. I was super into that game. I 5 was all right. It's kind of it's 5 is definitely a lot more actiony. Well, 4 is really a lot more actiony, but they really double down on the action in 5. But it's still kind of an okay game. It's just not really a great like Resident Evil game, I guess.
Right.
And then 6 is just total garbage. And actually, it might have been a 360 game now that I'm thinking about it. Whatever, I don't remember. But and then 7, and again 6 again. So 4 is really still well, in the remake of 2. Those are the only 2 Resident Evil games I've ever actually finished.
Wow.
And then 7, I've played a little bit, but I play it in VR on PS4, and the VR is just annoying to set up, so I haven't played it much. But once I have it set up and have the headset on and everything, it's a blast. I mean, VR horror is pretty fun to me, but it's just so annoying to set up that I hardly ever play it. So I haven't played 7 much. I could just play it. I think it's on Game Pass, isn't it? So I could just play it on Xbox, or maybe it's not, but I think it has been. Whatever.
I'm not sure.
But anyway, I guess I could just play it on Xbox, but the whole reason I got it was to have a VR game.
Right.
So, but anyway, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's my experience with Resident Evil. And I have the remake of 3, I just haven't played it yet. It was one of the games I got on the most recent, Black Friday / holiday sale.
Ah. Right. I just got Mega Man Zero collection on that sale.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't played it yet.
I haven't
I'm
either.
ashamed of myself because I loved those games when they were on Game Boy Advance, but
Yeah, and I'm pretty serious. Serious. Why did I say? I'm pretty curious to see, or to hear your opinion on ZX, because I liked ZX a lot. When it was new on DS.
right.
So I'm curious to see what you think about that game.
Yeah.
Because I didn't play much of the Zero games before that, so I'm curious to see what you think. Coming very experienced in the Zero games, to seeing how it, holds up. Anyway,
Yeah.
there you go. So yeah, I've also been playing DBD a lot. Other than that, I've kind of been going back through my games, and like I because of Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold and everything, I have like this huge stockpile of games on my I'm sure you do too.
Oh yes.
And so I've kind of been going back and trying to play through some of those, and a lot of them aren't good. But I kind of try to give each one of them a chance, or at least any of them that's kind of sound interesting to me, or that I've kind of been intending to play. I've kind of been going back through, because there aren't really any current games right now that I'm playing other than Dead by Daylight, I guess. But there aren't really any new games coming out that I'm trying to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing specific though, just a lot of random games here and there. I have been playing, for some reason, a lot of 360 games. So you know how I don't know why I haven't brought this up to you yet, but so I actually did get TMNT and Captain America for the 360.
Oh nice.
Yeah, so I'm actually done with those. I've already 1,000 gamer scored TMNT. It's really easy, by the way, to do that. And I almost did it with Captain America, but I got tired of playing. I finished the game, but it's not great, so I just got tired of it and kind of gave up. And plus, one of the achievements is for getting all the collectibles, and they're supposed to all show up on the in-game map, or at least the category of collectibles that I only needed one more of to get this achievement. Those are all supposed to show up on the map, and the last one was just nowhere on the map. And I didn't feel like looking up any like guides to like go through every single one to see which one was the one I was missing. So that kind of made me give up on getting the rest of the achievements. So like, well, if I
Right.
can't have all of them, what's the point? But I think I still have like over 800 gamer score from that game, so whatever, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But it's an all right game. It's just yeah.
It's not amazing. Yeah, from everything I've heard about it, it sounds like kind of like a pretty all right Arkham wannabe type thing. So
Yeah, it's definitely not good enough to make you really want to go back and get all the achievements though.
right.
But you can get a lot of most of them. Like like I said, I've got over 800 points I think from that game. But yes, you can get most of them just playing through the game once. But then there's like some other challenge mode stuff you got to do, and it's like, ugh, God, I don't really want to play more of this. But it's kind of fun to play through the story.
Cool.
Um. So yeah, other than just going back through like backlogs of games, I haven't really been doing much. Like I said, with any new games, I guess the next new game I'm kind of interested in is the new Ratchet and Clank, I guess. But that's not gonna be out till like June or July or something. And then of course the Skyward Sword remaster.
Yes. I'm excited to finally play Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
It's like the only Zelda game I haven't played.
well, because it's never been less than $50,
Yeah.
unless I think it's $20 like on the Wii U shop, but
Yeah.
I think it's best that you waited, for a remaster because, now it's like, I don't know, looks better, I guess.
Right. Well,
But like anywhere that you would want to buy it physically, it's just always been like $50 or $60 because Nintendo games just never go down in price.
yeah.
And so at least now you can spend however much, it's probably $60, but at least now you can pay for a new game and actually get a new game.
Yeah.
Or, sort of a new game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I don't the game I'm most excited about that's coming out is definitely Gotham Knights.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say something else to segue us into our topic. But yeah, we can talk about Gotham Knights.
Well, it kind of does touch in our topic actually.
All right. Because, yeah, Gotham Knights. Yeah, it's
I
probably going to be pretty great.
yeah, I
Or
mean,
at least, what I hope it is will be great.
right. And it's made by WB Montreal who made Arkham Origins, which is definitely one of the most looked down upon Arkham games. Um, you could probably
It's
get into it.
probably the most looked down upon other than Blackgate, I guess. If
Yeah,
that
if
counts.
that even counts, yeah. And I mean, you could probably get people into a debate whether the fourth game or whether Arkham Knight or Arkham Origins is the worst one. And you will have people who are ardent defenders of both and who absolutely hate both. But I am one of the ardent defenders of Arkham Origins. I thought it was a great game. I thought it basically felt like an awesome expansion to Arkham City, and that's basically what I wanted at that point, and that's what I got, and so I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with more of the Arkham series, especially with a game where you can play as my favorite Bat character, Batgirl, for the entire game.
Yeah, and we can play co-op and both be Batgirl.
Yeah, yeah. So because this game was going to have online co-op, which is like such a
Yeah.
unique concept these days for some reason.
Yeah. Well, but before we get into that, speaking of continuing from Arkham and everything, what about this Suicide Squad game? Do you have any interest in that at all?
Uh, it's really hard to have interest in it right now because like has there even been gameplay shown yet?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So all we have is like this weird CG video that doesn't really tell us anything about even the fact that it's a game. You know,
Do you
so
mean other than the super creative and original idea of having an evil Superman?
yeah, it's super original. I was actually just about to complain about that because, like, man, there's a lot of evil Supermans out in the world, and yeah, I'm pretty tired of it at this point. But oh boy, hey, here's another one. Yay, we've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's really irritating, and
So,
it's kind of like, you know, it's again with Superman, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Like that's just kind of the problem with Superman in general.
yeah,
Um, but whatever.
yeah. I mean, I, I
I mean,
do.
I definitely want to play it because it's Rocksteady's next game,
Yeah,
obviously. So, um, but I mean, I'm definitely more interested in Gotham Knights.
yeah. That's basically what I was about to say. Like at this point, it's hard to have hype about it because we just know nothing about it, and but I am interested because yeah, it's Rocksteady's next game. I'm curious what they're gonna do. If they're gonna change up their style a lot with a completely different kind of game. But beyond
Well,
being
it's
like kind of curious, yeah, I'm way more excited about Gotham Knights.
yeah, and Suicide Squad. I mean, it's gonna have to be pretty different because it's a four-player co-op game. So
Oh, it is. I didn't know they'd even announced that.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I doubt we'll both be able to be the same character because it's
Yeah.
probably pretty story focused. You know, uh, thingamajig.
Is it
Who
going to be online four-player co-op?
I really don't see how it couldn't be.
Okay.
But who knows? I haven't even seen gameplay of it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if it's like if it's four-player co-op the same way like Ultimate Alliance or something like that is four-player co-op, then I guess it could be local co-op only. But if it's co-op like I don't know something like Crackdown is, then it would have to be online. There's no way that you could share the screen unless it's like split screen. But
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that would be pretty awful if a split screen game was local co-op only. Which I
Yes.
guess that's kind of like how the original Halo was. Well, and all the original, all the old shooters that were, split screen. They obviously didn't have online co-op, but they had local co-op. But it
Yeah.
was split screen, so it was awful.
Yeah. So, yeah,
But you know what? You know what? Back then, that's all we had, so we just dealt with it. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. We just we dealt with having a quarter of a screen.
yeah. I mean, it's all we knew. We didn't really have other options. Like the idea didn't exist. So, as hard as it was to play Perfect Dark four-player, um, on our tiny tube TVs, um, it was, four split screen. I mean, we did it. We
Yeah.
did it. So,
And so speaking of games coming out, another game uh, that we're also interested in is Shredder's Revenge. This was a game that was just announced like a week ago,
yes.
and pretty much the first thing both of us said was, "Oh, I bet it's local co-op only."
Yep.
So that's kind of what we're talking about today is what is up with this trend of games over the last few years only like especially these arcade style like beat 'em up games only having local co-op. And like wasn't River City Girls local co-op only?
Yes, it was.
And I think Streets of Rage 4 has online co-op, I think. Um, but anyway, so yeah. Oh, and the Power Rangers game, that beat 'em up game, that was local only also.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and anytime I bring this up like on a forum or comment section somewhere, it's like people just act like I'm just making this up that this is a thing that games just don't have online co-op. And I'm like, well, I hope it has online co-op, and they're like, every game has online co-op. This better have local co-op. And it's like, first of they all have local co-op. What game doesn't have local co-op that also that has an online version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, other than like a shooter or something, I understand like a shooter, especially a modern like FPS, not having local co-op. But I mean, like a beat 'em up style game. What game in that genre has online and not local? And people always act like that's the norm, that every game has online and not local, and it's the total opposite.
Yeah. I mean, um, freaking, uh, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2. Like, God, I love Bloodstained as a series. I loved the Curse of the Moon, like prequel game, the 8-bit prequel game that they made.
Mm.
Um, it was great. And I was super excited when they announced Curse of the Moon 2, especially since it was going to have co op. I was like, sweet, co op. We have a co op game in a series that I love coming out in 2020. And then they're like, and it's local co op only. And it's like, okay, literally pandemic, like literally even if I wanted to hang out with my friends,
Yeah.
can't. And you're releasing a local co op only game. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the thing is like over the past year, this has stuck out even more, and I don't understand it. And it just the other day when I commented about this new, Ninja Turtles guy, I said Shredder's Revenge. I didn't say it was a Ninja Turtles game, but it is.
To
If you
us,
don't
that's
know,
obvious.
if you don't know who Shredder is, but anyway, it seems to be drawing a lot of inspiration, from Turtles in Time and the Turtles arcade game and stuff.
Yeah.
I put a comment on whatever website it was, and I said the same thing. Oh, I hope it has online co-op and not just local. And they're like, oh, don't you have any friends? Yeah, I have friends. Who's hanging out with their friends right now?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, especially like at friends' houses and stuff. Like, who's doing that right now? Like, does everybody live with their friends or something? I don't understand what's going on.
I mean, like,
I mean, I know college kids probably do, but even that, I don't think, because college has all been online for the last year. So, but I mean, I guess people are still, were they still staying in dorms? I don't know.
some, yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends on the college, and it's been a mess, but yeah. Um, and I mean, I guess, like, little
Well, I
kids,
guess not just dorms, but college kids have apartments together too. So,
yeah.
I mean, the school's not going to tell you you can't live in the apartment. They can kick you out of the dorm, for health reasons, but they're not going to kick you out of the apartment. Obviously, I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, yeah, so them, I mean, like, little kids who had a lot less to fear from the pandemic because it wasn't affecting their age group as much. Um, like, they may have been able to still hang out with friends some in person and whatnot. But I mean, like, God, is it really that many people? Is it really that many people that like are just still able to hang out with their friends all the times and just play co-op games? Because I mean, like, I've been waiting a year to play board games with people. I've been waiting a year. I want to play board games, and so like I can't even get people over to play board games. I'm supposed to get them over to play local co-op video games. Like I don't. It's not gonna happen. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the perfect. This has been the perfect opportunity to like, you know, uh, push like the online components of your game, and just for some reason games are still coming out that are local co-op only, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said I don't know if I've said this on the Antiverse before, but I've said this to plenty of people when I talk to them about video games. Is that like, if a game is online co-op, I will get your game almost guaranteed. No matter like how little interest I have in the series, because like if I can play it online with a friend, that is so much more interesting to me than like anything else about the game.
Yeah, and because I have so many games like that I've gotten to play co-op, and I mean I haven't played them yet, but over the years I get them, like when they're super cheap or something. It's like, oh, I'll probably play that at some point. You
Yeah.
know, I haven't played them yet, but I bought them. So
Yeah. I mean, we have a way out. I don't think I have never played it. I don't know if you've ever played it, but like I have it because it's got local or online co-op.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And the other aspect of it is so yeah, people always think it's the norm that games have online and not local, and then they always act like it has to be one or the other, and I don't understand why it can't be both ways. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, it's you say like, oh, I hope it has online co-op, and they're like, no, it needs to be couch co-op. It's like they can have both. Like, why can't we have online co-op and still have the couch co-op that you want for some reason?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, they're not mutually exclusive, as they say.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like I I get that there is a lot of production cost to doing online co-op, especially making it work. I mean, we play Dead by Daylight. We we know how problematic online,
Yes.
playing online stuff is. But you know, it's just like, especially if you're building co-op into the game, so you have it set up that there is a way that this game functions where you can play with another person. To not just like make an online mode of that is just mind-boggling to me.
Right. So yeah, you were talking about there being some additional costs associated with putting, including an online component in your game, and that kind of gets into something else where it just seems like, people are finding the cheapest ways possible to make games now. And so, I mean, this might be kind of a tangent, but hey, that's what we do around here. That's kind of another issue is all these shitty, cheap indie games that are coming out. We were just talking about this yesterday. How there's all these stupid like puzzle platform games that are all the same thing, and it's like these little we're gonna make an 8-bit game. And like, yeah, because it's cheap and doesn't take very long to make, and people just love these things for some reason. I don't get it. So I guess leaving the online component out may be a part of trying to just make your development costs as low as possible, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly the games. It seems like largely I'm blaming Steam for this. I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm blaming Steam for it anyway. Is that it just seems like the goal these days, what's popular these days, is making the game, whether it is cheap to make or not, making it look like it was cheap to
Yeah,
make.
right.
And so like the less like modes you have and stuff like that, the cheaper it looks like the game was to make, and that's the games that sell on Steam. And so, you know, that's the problem. And I mean, I not just to completely hate on games that are, retro or 8-bit or whatever, because like I said, I love Curse of the Moon, which is an 8-bit retro game. But like, Curse of the Moon is an 8-bit retro game, but it's clearly high production value. They made the game look good. They made it look like a high end 8-bit game, and they made it play really well. Whereas like a lot of times people are like, "Oh, it's 8-bit and retro," and they're just saying that because like the graphics that they're creating look like absolute crap,
Yeah.
and they don't want to have to work hard to make them look better. Um, is kind of what I see from a lot of those indie games more often. And sometimes that can have its appeal too, sure, but like, it feels like it's part of just trying to make the games look like they're cheap to make, and because that's what's gonna sell right now for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is there's kind of this, I guess, sentiment among a lot of gamers where they want to feel like they're like supporting an indie developer. Like people who make games just totally by themselves or maybe with one other person.
Yeah.
Like we have a friend. They're making a game. It's there's a demo of it on Steam, I think. Um, but anyway, so and it's like I get that, and I get games looking cheap because of stuff like that. But you have like these huge companies making these games. Like you said, they're just trying to make them look like they were cheap to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
And sometimes they might have actually been cheap to make because they're trying to just make as much profit as possible because they know that this style of game is really in right now. So you have a company like, EA or Activision or something. They'll they have like what, thousands of employees. They can make and these games, the real indie games, since they're made by so few people, well, all these companies with a ton of employees can make a ton of these games, and they can pump them out really fast and sell them for the same price that an actual indie company or indie developer would sell it for, except they're a big company, so they've made a lot more of these games,
Yeah.
so they're just trying to capitalize on this trend, and people just keep buying into it. I don't understand it. And it's kind of the same thing as like the Kickstarter phenomenon from a few years ago. You had all these huge, Sony was like kickstarting games, like, hey,
Yeah.
go support this game on Kickstarter. Like, what? You're Sony. What are you talking about? You have a console out, like the most popular console, the best selling console of all time, and you want me to go pay for you to make a game? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. God, that specific thing, because they did, yeah, Sony helped kickstart Shenmue 3 or 3, I think. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
3. And that pissed me off so much because that literally it came out on like the last week of Bloodstains Kickstarter, and I just remember like that week, like after that game was announced at like E3 on Sony's stage, yeah, like all of a sudden, like the funds going into Bloodstain just like dried up. Like the game had been getting lots of funds very steadily, and then just like that came out and it was like all of a sudden it wasn't getting any money. Not that it really ended up needing it, because I had plenty, but yeah, like Bloodstain is literally this game series that came out of like a guy being kicked out of a major game company, and so basically starting his own game company to become a new indie studio, and actually needing Kickstarter to get going.
Because he wanted to make games that people wanted to play that the company he was working for wouldn't let him make.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have that Kickstarter running, and then cutting into it is Sony kickstarting a freaking game that, why would they need to kickstart it? They're freaking Sony. They're one of the most powerful corporations in the freaking world. Man, like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's so disingenuous. And I mean, I guess that doesn't really happen much anymore. Kickstarter's kind of back to what it was originally supposed to be
Yeah.
nowadays. But yeah, I don't get it, because you're announcing this game like it's some big new game, and you're like, oh, it's on Kickstarter. We don't want to pay for it. You pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, if you really want it to be a thing, you could just like Sony could have very easily have funded in all of the development for Shenmue 3 if they really wanted to.
Yeah, and probably
And
for the amount it got funded from Kickstarter without, it being a problem.
it's I don't because it's not, is it PlayStation exclusive, Shenmue 3? Is it even out? I don't even know. Did
I
it ever
have
come out?
I don't know. I have not paid attention.
We
Like,
get the news team on that.
yeah, beyond Shenmue 3 having the Kickstarter, like I didn't pay any attention to its existence, cuz I mean, like Shinmu, the first game was like cute, but like it's not a series I've ever known as being a good series, or ever known anyone who liked the series like legitimately, not like kind of ironically. And so it it becoming the most backed video game on Kickstarter it just seemed so almost offensive. It's like, who are these people backing this game? And where no one's ever cared about Shinmu before this moment.
Yeah, it's really strange. So yeah, apparently it came out 2 years ago, 2019. Yeah, it is a PS4 exclusive. Well, PS4 and Windows.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is like, oh man, they could have just paid for it and gotten the exclusivity, but I guess they got it anyway. So
Yeah.
man, they got an exclusive game that they get all the profit for, and they didn't have to pay for it. That's pretty awesome for them.
Yeah. So.
Man, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so shitty. Like, because I mean, obviously, companies like Sony, I mean, or whoever published EA, Activision, whoever, uh, they're kind of the go-to examples of major game publishers. But anyway, any of these big publishers, obviously they pay for it's an investment. It's like anything. You pay for the development of a game expecting to make profit off of selling the game. But you got all of us as, not you and me, but us as, gamers, people whoever was interested in Shenmue 3, like you said, who knows who they were.
Yeah.
You kind of exploited that to not have to invest anything, and you still get all the profit from it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about with like all these major companies making these indie looking games. Is like they're major companies, but they know this will sell right now, so they're deliberately keeping games super cheap to make and profiting off of it because they know it'll sell right now.
Because of people going like, oh, it's so artistic.
Yeah.
Because it looks so shitty.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And I mean, yeah, I don't personally, like you said, I've been playing through Game Pass as well, and there's just a ton of those indie games coming to Game Pass, and I've been playing through some of them, and I have not been enjoying really any of them, but I'm still like, I can understand being impressed that like one person or a very small group of people with like no money and no backing, and maybe it was funded on Kickstarter, got this game together and made it. Like that's still impressive, and I get being impressed by that. But the major downside of everyone enjoying that work so much is that we're seeing these major companies just profit off of that becoming popular. So
right. Just making it as cheap as possible to maximize your profit, or in Sony's case, having your cost be basically zero. Well, not basically, I guess it was zero. Because all the people who bought into Kickstarter, they didn't get any of their money back. They didn't see their profit from their quote unquote investment. They basically just gave the money away, and I mean, which is fine for games that are actually being made by indie developers, or real indie games.
yeah,
Not a game that's backed by Sony. Like that's not okay for people to just give their money away to a game that's supposedly being backed by Sony or promoted by Sony or whatever, when it's like, shouldn't they be doing this, especially since they're getting console exclusivity for it?
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. I mean, that's why games don't have online co-op now.
Yeah, so I guess it kind of just is an unfortunate side effect of that trend of making games either actually cheap or just seem like they're cheap. So yeah, so the bottom line is, let's hope that Shredder's Revenge has online co-op, because I mean, I'll probably play it anyway because it's a Turtles game.
Yeah.
But man, it'll be so much better if there's online co-op.
Seriously.
And man, that was so great. Like about speaking of 360 games, like the Simpsons arcade game and X-Men arcade game, those had online co-op. And
Yeah.
that's amazing, honestly.
Dude, it was so fun. I mean, they're such short and simple games, but getting to just like get together with friends online and play through them for nostalgia reasons, that was freaking awesome.
Well, and obviously the Turtles arcade game too. Duh, that was on there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the remake of Turtles in Time was, pretty bad.
It was fine. It just definitely did not live up to the original.
Yeah, I mean, I would pick the original arcade game, like the '89 arcade game. Just what I'm talking about, not Turtles in Time arcade, but you know what I'm saying. The first Turtles arcade game,
Mm-hmm.
I would play that over the Turtles in Time remake, like any day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna. I like Turtles in Time more, but I still would. Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, Turtles in Time arcade versus '89 arcade. Yeah, obviously the Turtles in Time wins. But if you're talking about '89 arcade versus Turtles in Time remake, then that's different.
Yeah.
and that's still really the only way to play those three. Like, did those games come out on PS3? Those arcade games, the Turtles, Simpsons, and X-Men, or were those only on XBLA?
I I don't know if they came out on PS3. I know they didn't come out on Xbox One.
Well, yeah. Hold on, I'm getting the news team on this. Well, I won't look up all of them, but Simpsons at least came out on both, on 360 and PS3.
Okay.
But anyway, I was gonna say that. Well, whatever. Okay, so PS3 also. So going back to these previous generation consoles, 360 or PS3, is the only way to play these games now because they're not backwards compatible on PS4. Well, I don't think any PS3 games are backwards compatible on PS4, but so yeah, just staying with Xbox, I guess they're not backwards compatible on X1 or Series X, whatever. Um, so really, the only way to play them is to, you know, go back to still have your 360. So I'm really glad I still have my 360, so I can play those if I want because I like having those games around. But I don't think you can buy them anymore either. So you have to have previously bought them.
Yeah, you had to buy them while they were out.
Yeah, and I don't think like the artwork even shows up for them anymore because like the last time I was looking through the games I have on my 360, like it was just like a blank image with the title of the game under it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, online co-op, man. I don't know why it's so you know such a controversial thing. It's like it doesn't take away the local co-op. So I don't if you don't want to play online, then just don't play it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like people just like I said, they just keep thinking it's either one or the other. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason that we've been so addicted to Dead by Daylight for 2 freaking years now, or however long, is because of the online. It's basically online co-op. It's we get to play that game together, and that makes it just drastically more appealing. Whenever I try to play it by myself these days, I'm just like, But
Yeah,
whenever you're like, hey, we should DVD, I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
yeah.
So
Well, the other thing is, well, at least for me, when I try to play it by myself, I really only play killer. Cause just
yeah,
man, so playing solo survivor is just a nightmare, especially at high ranks.
yeah,
Like if you're not playing with at least one other person, it's you're just you you just get the worst teammates basically.
yeah,
So yeah, so I only really play killer when I play by myself, and it's just playing killer isn't really fun. So
yeah. Same.
it's basically it's either way too easy or like way too fucking annoying because the survivors are assholes.
Yeah,
And actually, sometimes they're assholes and it's easy. Um,
yeah. That happens plenty. Where they think they're really good, and so they're trying to show off and be assholes, but it's like you guys are really not good.
although I do, yeah, and I do enjoy playing friendly killer. Also, I think I get the most joy out of, or the most enjoyment out of that than any other way to play killer.
Yeah,
Which I guess the only other way is to be take it seriously. I guess there's only really two ways to play, but yeah, I definitely get more. I enjoy that a lot more than actually taking it seriously.
yeah,
Mostly because the matches are a lot shorter.
yeah.
Unless the survivors know, oh, he's not going to try to kill us, so we're just going to fuck around and not do anything.
That happens.
Damn it, hurry up to the judge and leave. Anyway, so yeah, there's our take on online and local co-op. We like both. But obviously, well, even without a pandemic situation, we don't live near each other. Also, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
really live near any of my friends, really.
same.
Um, so I mean, playing. I mean, I have friends around here, but not people that I think really want to come over and play games. Um,
Right.
anyway, so there you go. I forget how we really end these things. Thanks for listening. Hey, check us out on, hopefully the website's back up by the time you hear this, antiversepodcast.com. Or just search for us on, the old YouTube, Antiverse Podcast. Just search for that on YouTube. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you want to say, Ramsey?
I'm good.
All right, well, he's been Ramsey. I've been Chris. This has been the Antiverse, and we'll see you next time in the Antiverse.
Shaw.